Most beginners don't struggle because they can't connect. They struggle because of this one thing, and it is so subtle, most people don't even recognize that they're doing it. In this lesson, I'm sharing the top mistake beginners make when they develop their mediumship. This is lesson 4 of a 5-part training. When this video ends, YouTube will automatically take you to lesson 5. You can receive a completely legit message from a spirit and still feel like your readings are off. Just about every one of my students make this mistake before they realize how to understand what a spirit is actually telling them. What's the mistake? It's making assumptions. A lot of mediums and beginners alike are getting legit spiritual impressions, but it's about the assumptions they are making that cause them to interpret the impressions inaccurately. How does this happen? Let's say a spirit has come into your awareness. You receive a single impression, or even 2 or 3 impressions, and then you infer about the past spirit based on your own frame of reference. Another way to say that, you're using reasoning, not evidence, based on the first few impressions, to get the gist of who the spirit was when they were living based upon your own experiences, your own belief systems, your own memories, etc. For example, one of the most common ways to make assumptions is that you get a spirit who is sending a lot of love to their sitter and talking about all the good times. So you assume that the relationship was positive most of the time. While that can be true in some situations, maybe you let your mind take you in that positive direction and you miss the impressions that are being communicated about how this person suffered from addiction and that their relationship was actually very difficult with a particular child or their spouse. This example of making assumptions about the character, personality, and relationship dynamics is the most common way that beginners make assumptions that leads to a lack of depth in their readings. Instead of bringing them through as the dynamic, complex person that most humans are. Here's some other assumptions beginner mediums might make. Let's say you get the clairsentient impression of your hands being in dirt, and the clairvoyant impression follows of seeing flowers being planted. You might assume this spirit was a gardener, but perhaps the impression is more symbolic than it is literal. Or perhaps it's both. Maybe the spirit is telling you that they were a gardener, or the sitter is a gardener. Maybe they're also sending the message to the sitter that it's time to start a new chapter and to help the sitter grow into the person they're meant to be in this upcoming part of their life. Perhaps you're assuming that someone's past partner is one gender and they are actually another. If someone says they want to hear from their partner, maybe you assume it's a man, but it's actually a woman. These are different examples of assumptions that a lot of mediums can make, especially when they're just beginning. And these assumptions lead to inaccurately interpreting spiritual impressions. Mediums have to learn to do something that I teach my students, and I call it unfolding impressions. That means that before you decide that you know what a spiritual impression means, that you hold the impression in your mind until you start to sense the deeper meaning of the impression. Maybe that means that when you receive a spiritual impression, if you don't understand the meaning right away, that you ask in your mind, does this feel literal or more symbolic? Or both? I'll talk about unfolding impressions more in the next lesson. If you feel like you're getting impressions but you don't always know what they mean, or you have trouble interpreting them accurately, you are not alone. This happens to all mediums, even advanced mediums. There is actually a simple progression that beginners can follow to develop their mediumship. You can use it yourself to improve your abilities and your accuracy as a medium. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do and watch the next lesson. I'll walk you through step by step where to start if you feel called to mediumship.